Welcome to the Finding Joy podcast. My name is Sera-Joy Christobia. I am your host for this podcast. I started this podcast to create a safe space for all who seek the truth of God's Word and people who want to find answers to the deeper questions in life. We are a community that learns, unlearns, and grows together through wisdom gleaned from the scriptures and our personal life experiences. Today's episode is a special episode where I would like to share with you my story. I believe my story, together with everyone else's, is what it means to be human. From single-celled organisms that are yet to be fully understood to more complex organisms like us, together, we share a planet rich with different worlds, ours being only one of them. Within our world exist many others, with an individual at the center of their own world. We share one world and one reality, but experience it differently. What helps us see this shared world and reality is when we choose to step outside our worlds into that of others. It is only when we merge our realities that the truth of our world is fully seen and understood. Each person's world shapes their perspective and perception. This, in turn, shapes their actions, and their actions influence their reality. But a person's reality is not influenced by their actions alone, but by the actions of others. These external actors may be those who share their world or those who do not. In the end, we only have control over what we can influence, our actions, knowing that these can impact the world of others negatively or positively. This is something that I have learned the hard way, and I can tell that I still have a lot more to learn. Until we come to understand this dynamic, our shared world will suffer, and not just ours, but all life on the planet. Growing up, I struggled to understand why others acted differently from me. I wondered why they did not share my interests or why I felt misunderstood always. Then after a while, I started to think, maybe I am the odd one out. Maybe I am the one who acts differently and does not understand. Maybe I am the one who doesn't fit in. And since I could not get people to see my world, I tried to fit into theirs. For years, I did not know who I was, but I knew it was not the person I was trying, yet failing to be. That inner conflict led to feelings of loneliness and isolation. I do not remember everything from my past, but I do remember being sexually abused at a young age. Because I couldn't remember fully the event, and nor could I remember the face of the perpetrator, I didn't think much about it. I used to see it as a dream, something that haunted me in my dreams. Little did I know that this was going to affect my relationships throughout my life. If only there was one person who could see me, who could hear me, or who shared my world, I thought to myself, maybe I would not be so alone. Our experiences have taught us that to fit into our shared world, we need to trim parts of ourselves. The parts that do not quite align, that make us too different to us. To an extent, that is well understood. But when it is not placed in the right context, it can have a devastating effect on the individual and the collective, robbing both the opportunity to experience the richness this world has to offer. For in our uniqueness, there is a wealth that can never be acquired, not in the gold mines of Ghana or the diamond mines of Botswana. After years of trying to fit the mold, I finally hit what seemed like a dead end. The worlds I was mirroring started crumbling as I became more self-aware. Questions I always had but never found answers to started to take on new meaning. Who am I? What do I want? In what future am I free to be me? Is the road I'm on going to lead me there? Then I found my answers in 2019 during the pandemic. I was at one of my lowest points in life. Like many people during the pandemic, I felt very isolated and I started losing quality relationships. During that time, I turned to the scriptures for solace. Spending time in the scriptures, a light pierced through my darkness, one that was always shining, but in my mirroring and confusion, I could not see it. I grew up in a Christian family. I have been a Christian from a very young age. And I did my very best to be or to live as a good Christian. I went to church. I said my prayers. I joined church communities. I grew up a judgmental Christian. I believed that as long as I was not engaging in the mainstream sins, I believed I was okay. So I would criticize others whom I believed were into all these things. I thought I could earn my righteousness through my actions. And so whenever I managed to do something good, I felt very proud of myself. However, I struggled also with my own demons. I couldn't see the log that was in my eye, but I was pointing at the speck in other people's eyes. I struggled with an addiction that plagued me for most of my life. I struggled with petty theft. I would take things that I didn't really need at the time. I also struggled with gossiping, but at the time I did not even realize that it was gossiping because for me, it was a way to join in conversations, to feel heard, and to feel like I belonged. But during the pandemic, I found Jesus. And though I knew of him growing up as a Christian, I didn't really know him. I found that throughout my life's journey, he was always there with me, shining his light, knocking on my heart, waiting for me to answer. And the moments I chose to let him in, this was the moment I gained clarity. I found out who I was, why I was on this earth. His truth set me free. I found identity and purpose. My eyes and heart were open, and I started to see others as Jesus saw them. I was empowered to step into the world of others, something I had never done before. I began to see different perspectives, and things I had silently observed all these years started to make more sense. I started to realize what it meant to be human, what it meant to be me. When I found Jesus, I found me. I found love. I found grace. And I found mercy. And I was empowered to show this to others also. However, as life would have it, I experienced another difficulty in life, one that I wasn't prepared for. Jesus taught me during the pandemic a new way to see myself, others, and the world that was created through him. He taught me what it meant to love unconditionally, and I was eager to share what I had learned with others. But when the time came to practice what I was taught, as it is with every lesson in life, I failed miserably. I was filled with so much pain because of the experiences I had had after the pandemic that I completely forgot what I was taught. My bruised heart did not have the capacity to hold the love that I once held. And I was trying to do it all on my own. This made me realize that I hadn't fully understood what I learned during the pandemic. And despite my sincerest intentions to show others unconditional love, I will find myself falling short often. I realized that I couldn't or hadn't fully accepted God's unconditional love for me. I hadn't fully learned to love myself unconditionally. When I finally understood this, I realized that I had to work on myself before I could fully love anyone the way that they deserved to be loved. Because of my experiences with hurt and betrayal, I found it difficult to open up to people. The experience left me with scars and burdens I wish I didn't have to carry. I developed a coping mechanism or a number of coping mechanisms that's made me defensive automatically. It made me question everybody's actions and intentions. It made me become skeptical and cynical. And I couldn't seem to break from the mindset that someone was out to get me all the time. I will find myself doubting my choices, doubting the actions of people, doubting everything. I lost trust in myself and in people. And because of that, I couldn't open up to people. I couldn't receive love from people. And I couldn't express the love that I wanted to people. I became self absorbed and was not able to realize or perceive what the people around me were going through because of my actions and also because of their personal life. I realized that this was trauma I had to deal with, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has trauma or who has experienced trauma in their lives. There is overwhelming evidence that we live in a broken world. Wars, hunger, poverty, oppression, amongst others. However, there is hope because there is God, and He has written His laws on our hearts and minds. And because of that, we can learn to love and empathize and desire a better world together. This requires true humility, where we place the interest of others above our own while maintaining equal value for everyone, including ourselves. This ensures that we listen to and understand each other, and that we create spaces where everyone is able to express their unique selves and find their rightful place as God intended it. As a child, I struggled with mood swings. Growing up, I believed the only way to be accepted was if I was perfect. If only I did what was expected of me, I could make everyone happy. Then I would also be happy. But it took me falling on my knees and falling on my face several times to realize that I was not perfect and that I didn't have to fake to be. I did not have to perform, and I did not have to fit the mold. Jesus already fulfilled perfection for me. I just had to walk in His perfection. It was not about doing, it was about becoming. And that is a lifelong journey. As I took steps to further understand myself, I gained a deeper understanding of my own psyche. Growing up, I struggled a lot with mood swings. I thought it was normal. I also struggled with depression. And at the time, I didn't even know it was called depression. But I couldn't open up to anyone because I thought it was normal. I thought everyone experienced that. But as I found more about mental health and how undiagnosed conditions such as ADHD, autism, and childhood trauma could have a serious impact on the quality of life of an individual, permeating all areas of their life, I realized that I had to work on my own mental health. In trying to protect myself, I became less aware of the people around me and how much my actions were influencing them negatively. In all of this, I have come to realize being human is messy. We are shaped by our consciousness, our empathy, our awareness, our resilience, our creativity, and our search for meaning. And though our humanity makes us strong, it also makes us fragile. Eh, Our worlds interconnect and influence each other, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally. But what makes us human, I believe, is our desire to cover up and protect each other's fragility as though holding tenderly a flower. And this is something that I am still learning on my journey. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. And I hope, like me, you gain more self awareness and awareness of others on your personal journey. Until next time, this is the Finding Joy podcast.